Hi, this is Bob Kay from the 8th Annual AMD World Championship of Custom Bike Building here in Sturgis, South Dakota. I have with me here JC from 32 Choppers coming up with a pretty incredible bike, but what I really find incredible, it's from a traditional base. I'm an old 4-speed shovel guy from way back, and JC and 32 Choppers has done something on a bike that I've loved for years and kind of made it into something you would think was one of the most modern choppers out there running. So tell me, JC, what was the inspiration for going through all this trouble as opposed to just starting and building a frame from scratch?
Well, one of the things that really inspired us early on was we really always wanted to sit in the bike. You know, a lot of bikes, you sit on them. When you ride it, you sit on the bike, and so we wanted to start building a bike that you could actually sit in, but still could, you know, boogie on down the road and you know, ride it, you know, a full day without really killing yourself. And so we took one of our earlier designs of our El Segundo, and we you know, came in and we changed the rake up on this to shorten the wheelbase, and what that allowed us to do is give us a very nimble bike with a low center of gravity. Frame, motor, everything is all centered in the frame, so it really makes for a great riding bike and a comfortable riding bike, a great seating position, and you know, I mean, you can see what we came out with.
Well, you know, it's kind of like I said, a blend of a new age chopper and an old traditional bike. You've certainly gone traditional in the front with the Springer front end. Functionality wise, why did you choose the Springer over a hydraulic front end?
We've always liked the look of the Springer. I think one of the things is making it having the rideability as much as the reliability in the bike. You know, juice front ends are good, they run good, but when you're trying to get in rake and trail so the bike handles properly, it's just a lot easier to do, in my opinion, with a Springer. You know, we can custom make the Springer to be the right length. You know, it's not our Springer, we didn't make it, but you know, when we design the frame, we know our frame numbers, and from our frame numbers, you know, wheel height, you know, axle height, etc., you know, we can come in and really build the Springer and set the trail where we want the trail, because, you know, we can adjust the rocker length, etc. So, you know, it just really it accents our style, because we have a very hot rod style that is the new mixed with the old. We call it our trace deuce style, and it is. I mean, it's just kind of taking on new life and keep progressing. And we've stuck with the Springers from the beginning, and we love them. They ride great, they handle great, and I don't think we're going to move from them.
You know, just a little thing, I noticed you got a lot of high-end and one-off stuff, but you seem to be using an Arlenette throttle. Why would you do that?
You know, a lot of throttles we've tried, we just have always had issues with them working. And so, you know, the Arlenette throttle has always been the go-to throttle, and we've always used it. I mean, flat out, we use it because it works, bottom line.
You can't beat that logic. And speaking of reliability and works, you got a traditional S&S drivetrain with a Primo Rivera belt drive. I'm assuming it's because of your reliability issues?
Exactly the same. You cannot beat S&S. We always want to run their motors. You know, to me, they're the leader in the industry. Primo belt, same thing. Reliability, rideability. You know, when you're building a bike to sell to customers, you own that bike for the rest of your life. So you've got to go with the best products out there to be able to make sure that work on the backside of selling the bike, you know, doesn't you know, break your back. And when you got S&S and Primo, you know, you got the best combination out there, and we've run them. You know, we've run them since the beginning, so we always will run them.
I couldn't agree more. Well, let's get into the real meat of the matter here that takes this. So what I'm seeing here is a traditional 4-speed frame, pre-84, but then all of a sudden we get to the backbone section, they got some radical changes here. Let's talk about how you really came up with this geometry and
5-speed frame.
And figure out where you got going here. What was, I know it's the style from your El Segundo, so what did you do here to kind of get this geometry and set down?
Well, just basically starting on the design of the frame. You know, we always wanted to keep a relatively, I wouldn't say low, but I would say calm neck height. You know, we don't want to be too high. We don't want to be too out. We really like bikes that are short and squatty. You know, from the neck back to where you sit. You know, that way you don't have to run long bars. You don't have to run long pegs. You know, you're not stretched out over the bike. And so by doing that, we kept our backbone length at a certain number, so we knew we could slam a shorter tank on it. It kept our seat basically in the same line, but again, we like to sit in the bike, so we run the drop seat. And you know, the drop seat allows us to sit in the bike instead of on the bike. So when you're riding it, you're in it. I mean, you're a piece of the bike going down the road. And then, you know, with the light chassis, the light motor, everything's light, and you have the nice power of the S&S. I mean, the bike just gets on down the road and it's comfortable to ride. And you know, you got that rideability and reliability. And as a production bike, that's what you got to offer your customers.
Well, I stand corrected on this. It's a 5-speed frame. So what was your initial frame configuration? Where did that come from?
You know, we're old shovelhead guys. You know, my brother and I, we were shovelhead guys. You know, we started off in the company building, you know, some old shovel heads, and we decided to come in and change one of our designs, one of our early bikes, and make it into a wider tire bike. And you know, it wasn't really a direction we ever even thought of in the beginning, but we decided that coming in and building a wider tire bike, we knew that the geometry had to be low and centered, and the only way you can do that on the 300, in my opinion, is by running the right side drive. You know, the 5-speed mounts like the 6-speed, right. And so you run the right side drive 5-speed, you run the chain, you know, the drive on the right, and everything's centered, and you know, you can see how low the bike is, and that gives you that low center of gravity, and it just makes for an excellent handling motorcycle. When you got the trail, you know, calculated in, the bike is just a dream going down the road.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Keeping everything centered certainly helps,
yes,
compared to trying to offset engines and transmissions.
Exactly.
One thing we really can't notice from the shot here is this external oil tank. Very nice job, obviously, so you can get that lower seat height and everything. Really done a beautiful job. I'm sure that people would want to actually buy some of these parts. So do you actually make those parts available?
We will offer the chassis as a rolling chassis. It depends on the circumstance. We will offer it though. You know, we're working with, you know, talking to pipe companies about, you know, coming up with a 3-2 style pipe. You know, our side mount bags, you can't see it in the pictures, but the oil tank, all the mounting brackets are ours. We offer those. Side, you know, the oil filter, the remote oil filter, we offer those. You know, Brembo brakes, the brake brackets are ours. We offer those. So yeah, we offer quite a bit of parts for the bike.
All right, well, if somebody wants to get a hold of you, you have a website address?
Yep, www.32choppers.com, all spelled out. You can Google any form of 32 Choppers and find us. And you know, my name's JC, my brother's Jimmy Lee. He's, you know, my brother, and we're equal in this whole deal. And that's how you can get a hold of us.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate your participation in this year's championship.